Gurinder is the managing partner of Remax Hallmark Realty, the largest Remax franchise in Canada, consisting of 15 offices and approximately 1,200 agents who serve the Greater Toronto Area as well as Ottawa. He is the former regional director and executive vice president of Remax Ontario Atlantic, Canada. Gurinder began his career as a realtor in 1987, and I've personally had the privilege to actually work with Gurinder as well when I was at Remax head office as a training specialist. So, Gurinder.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to congratulate each and every single one of you. It's the middle of the summer, the sun is shining, and most people are thinking about vacations, but you're here wanting to build your business. So I applaud all of you. That's phenomenal. And I'm going to talk about 10 strategies that I've learned over the 30 years I've been in this business. 30 years, unbelievable. But over those 30 years, I've had a chance to chat with, sit with, and discuss and analyze this business with top producers and agents from all across the world. And one of the strategies that I'm going to talk about here is exactly what you're doing right now, is learning. So my hat's off to you. There's a lot of longtime friends in the crowd today, and it's so nice to see all of you. But there's a lot of new faces for me, so I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Karen told you what I do professionally, but the whole picture of me would not be complete until I showed you what I really am. And this is my family. I got 4 kids, or 3 kids. I'm the 4th kid, actually. I got 3 kids. And my wife, Harpreet, we've been married for 21 years now. And on the left, or my right up there, that's my oldest. She's the hardest working person I know in the world. And beside her is our youngest. His name is Arjun Singh Sandhu. And when I named him, I didn't realize the initials spelled ass. And I told that joke at my 50th birthday party a little while ago, and he's never been the same since. So I told him I'd never tell that joke in front of him again. And then my wife, and then our middle one on the right. But even that wouldn't be totally complete until I showed you our 4th kid. We just got this one a little while ago. His name is Max. Yes, short form for Remax. Kind of committed. I committed myself to so I can't go anywhere anymore. But anyway, so that's a little bit about me. And now I'm going to, hello. There we go. When I first started, so the 10 strategies that I'm talking about, when I first started talking about these 10 strategies with agents that I knew, I used to call it achieving your goals. And what I realized at that time was that goals inherently inside ourselves, when we set goals, we typically don't set the bar high enough. And I think one of the panelists, by the way, great panelists that we just listened to, but one of the panelists were talking about when you look for the long term, think as high as you can. And what I realized is that the top performers in our industry, the top performers, bada boom, they don't talk about goals. When they first start, they talk about dreams. And what we do as individuals, we underestimate what we can do in the future, and we kind of overestimate what we can do in the present. So any top performer, any mega agent that I've ever had the privilege of working with or talking to, when they started their business, and I've followed careers of many top performers, they've always dreamed very high. Because when you dream very high, you start to think differently, you start to prospect differently, you start to talk differently to people. And when we set goals, we actually underestimate what we can do. And I look across this audience, what I can tell you is that each and every single one of you has everything that you need to achieve your dreams in the long run. Don't ever undersell yourself. We're not born with skills that inherently bring us to where we want to go. Those things come from hard work, commitment, dedication, and just doing the grind each and every single day. So each and every single one of you, I know because I've been there in the beginning of many people's careers. When they've reached for their dreams, most people achieve them. It's a state of mind, right? So I'm going to challenge each and every single one of you. If you're not living the life that you've always dreamed of, why not, right? Okay, so moving on. I'm going to have some here. I'll walk over here. Now, why? Just a little bit about the dream. So, I've read a lot of research about people at the end of their lives. I'm a little morbid sometimes, I guess. And the one thing that they've in palliative care areas, one thing that the wish of the dying has been is that I wish I had chased my dreams, right? And at the end of the day, we only have one life. Actually, unless you're Hindu or Sikh like me, we keep coming back over and over again. But most of you are only going to live one life, so why not? Like, you don't want to regret your life when you get to the end. So let's all reach for our dreams. And dreams are like New Year's Eve, New Year's resolutions, right? There's a certain strategy or certain strategies that you need to deploy to achieve your dreams. So if you're like me, I work out probably 4 or 5 times a week, and at the beginning of the year, my gym looks like this. Every year. Right? And it happens for about 30 days. By the way, it takes 60 days to make a habit, right? But 30 days in, it looks like this. It's like completely, there's nobody there. It's great for me because I don't have to wait, but there's nobody there. Why? Because there are certain things that we need to do, certain mindset changes that we need to make, and certain behavior and certain patterns that we need to engage in order to make sure that we don't end up not going to the gym or not taking those steps that are necessary. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, if I can. Can somebody just move it one? There you go. Okay. So the one thing that is probably the most critical piece in achieving your dreams is figure out what your purpose is. Like, why are you in this business, right? And mega performers, every single mega performer that I've ever spoken to in my life, give or take 1 or 2, they've never led with money. Their purpose has never been money. Now, I know this is a business. We're in it to make money, granted. But they've never led with money. What have they led with? Well, they've led with things like, I want to be the best that I can be. I want to provide service that nobody else can provide. I want to be world class. I want to help communities. I want to help build communities. The communities that have given me so much, I want to give back. I want to service people. I want to help them realize their dreams of home ownership or their dreams of wealth creation by becoming investors in real estate. By the way, I think the best investment in the world is to buy real estate. How many agree with me? Okay. How many agree with me? Ah, that's what I'm talking about. So, thing is so look inside yourself. If you don't have a why, I'm going to challenge you to think of your why. And I'm going to show you by example of my uncle. You can make anything happen in your life if you have purpose. Your purpose will drive you. This is my uncle. He was 40 years old. This is 15 years ago. He was on blood pressure medication. He was on cholesterol medication. He was on medication to ward off the effects of medication. Right? And so he woke up, 15 years ago thinking he's got to get healthy. He wants to look better. He wants to live a better life. And so January 1st, he'd wake up like the people on those treadmills. And by February 1st, he's gained about 2-3 pounds because he stopped going. Right? And then one day, he was hiking up a hill with my cousins. They were about 5 or 6 years old then, maybe 4 or 5. And he's halfway up the hill, and he couldn't go on anymore. He just couldn't. And it, boom, hit him. I don't want to get healthy just for me. I want to get healthy because I want to go to the top of that hill with my kids. And I want to live these kinds of moments with my kids. I want to be there when they get married. And just like a bolt of lightning, his purpose hit him. I couldn't have timed that any better. I have purpose. Bam! When he realized that, this is him running the Boston Marathon. He had never ran before in his life. He got to the Boston Marathon in 1 year because he had purpose in his life. He had a why. He knew why he was doing it. And it wasn't about getting healthy. By the way, to qualify for the Boston Marathon, you got to run that damn thing in like under 2 hours. He had never run a day in his life before a year before this. This is him today. He's somewhere there. I'm going to find him. Uncle, where'd you go? Can we just hit forward on that? Yeah, there we go. That's him. He's an Ironman now. He didn't start swimming until a year before that picture was taken. By the way, Ironman, it's a full marathon, and then I think it's a bike for about 3 gazillion miles. And then there's like 1.8 kilometers of a swim. He's never swam in his... I come from Punjab. We're a landlocked province in India. I mean, there's a river every now and then, but there's no place to swim. This guy's swimming with people hitting him in the head with their elbows and stuff. So all that to say is that if you search inside yourself for a bigger purpose, something visceral, that's not led by money, because the money will come. The irony of it is, money will come, but don't lead with money because buyers and sellers smell commission breath from a mile away. I'm not kidding you. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, we'll get it. There you go. All right, so your why will provide focus and motivation. Now, at the end of the day, like over the 30 years, what I've learned is that this is not, this is a simple business, but it's not an easy business, you know? When you're knocking on, we're in the rejection business. When you're knocking on doors, if you're a door knocker or you're a cold caller, when you're knocking on one door to another and you get the door slammed in your face, somebody squares at you, somebody kicks you, somebody sends their dog at you, you're like, why the hell am I doing this? Exactly. Step back. Think about why you're doing this. And you know what? When you think about being world-class, or you think about creating a life that your family always dreamed about, you know what? You're going to go to that 100th door. And by the way, it takes about 100 doors to get to that first appointment. But if you don't have a purpose, you're not going to push yourself to go to that 100th door once you keep getting rejected over and over again. Right? So your why will give you motivation, will give you focus. Okay, enough about the why. Can we just, yeah, thank you. Next one. One more. Sorry. Okay, so we were just talking about, or earlier Karen said that I ran RE/MAX Ontario Atlantic for about 5 years. Best job I've ever had in my life. It was a small little company, about 10,000 agents. It was so much fun. Why would I, you know, this was my dream job. In fact, when I was, do you want to talk about dreams? Talk about big dreams? When I was 14 years old, my dream was to run one of the biggest companies in Canada. That was when I was 14 years old. So everything I did in my life was somehow subconsciously leading to the job of my dreams, which I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, I was living my dream for 5 years. And when I finally got there, I realized this is fantastic. And then I created new dreams for myself. I realized that day, one day when I was turning 50, I realized my why was that I want to dramatically improve people's lives. And I thought I was doing it in a certain way in the job of my dreams, and what I realized is that I wanted to do it one-on-one. So now I get the privilege of sitting with agents one-on-one every single day, and I get to help deconstruct their business, help them figure it out, tweak it a little bit, make it bigger and better and stronger than it was before, and that helps people's lives. That's why I do what I do. That's what gets me up every morning. That's why I drove 2.5 hours today so that I could be here for 30 minutes and drive back for 2.5 hours. Why? Because I'm hoping that maybe one of these things you guys will take back and improve your business and improve your lives. That's my why. Thought I'd share it with you. Next, please. Now, let's get into the tactics of it. This is a strategy where, you know, there's 50,000 agents in the Toronto Real Estate Board. There's 100,000 agents across the country. You know, when somebody, why is somebody going to come out and reach to you? So once you have your why and you have the philosophy that you're going to run your business with, the next thing is, what's different about you that separates you from those thousands of realtors out there? Because if you can't articulate that, then nobody's going to come. At least not to the point that you're going to be able to build your dreams. But if you can articulate to people why they should come to you versus all of the other people in your trading area, and then convert that into a 30-second kind of elevator pitch, that will be helpful if you prospect using door knocking, cold calling, showing up, as Richard said, open the envelope and go meet people. By the way, it was over my head too. But go out and meet people. Use your 30-second elevator pitch, because that's all you got, right? Now, even a 30-second elevator pitch, the first 8 seconds, you gotta hit them with exactly who you are. Why 8 seconds? Because the average human being has an attention span of 8 seconds. Goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds, by the way. So you got 8 seconds to get their attention, and then another 22 seconds to tell them exactly how you are the right person to help them with their dreams of home ownership. Okay? And how do you differentiate yourself? Well, this is from, I did an abridged MBA class during my career, and this is MBA 101. This is what's called a SWOT analysis, basically an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So businesses all over the world use this to differentiate themselves from their competitors. So do a SWOT analysis. Put your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats on a piece of paper, and then look at your competitors. Do the same thing. With that information, you'll be able to figure out what your 30-second the differentiating value proposition will be. Make sense? Okay. Next. Now, plan. How many of you do a business plan every year? Fantastic. And the rest of you, I'm going to give you a business plan hack. Now, I started in the industry 30 years ago, but I left the industry and went to business consulting. I got a CA and did the MBA pieces, the abridged MBA piece. And what I realized when I was out there is that businesses and many agents, we do business plans and just kind of analyze the heck out of everything, but those long business plans, they get filed away and nobody ever looks at them again. Right? I'm not saying that any of you would do that, but I'm going to give you something that if you do a long version of the business plan, and if you don't do it, either way, get a one-pager. Get a one-pager, put your goals and your dreams, and I'll showcase a couple of other things that you put on it, and take that one page, stick it up where you're going to wake up to it each and every single day. Why? Because business plans only work is if you follow them and you look at them and you take the things that you've written down and actually practice them and put them into habits. So if you have one page and you're looking at it every day, then you're operating on the Think and Grow Rich principle. Have you guys read that book? If you haven't, best business book in the world, bar none, of all time. It basically says that you are what you think, and you're depositing thoughts in your subconscious. And as much as we're probably controlled 25% by our conscious thoughts and 75% by our subconscious thoughts. So what you think about is what you become. And so if you're constantly thinking about where you've roadmapped yourself to, you are going to get there, right? So one-page business plan. Post it where you're going to see it every single day. Stick your why there. Remind yourself why you're doing this. Put your mission, vision, values, and all that kind of stuff there. And, whoops, whoa. And break your dreams down into annual goals, monthly goals, and daily activities. Because it's those daily activities is where the rubber hits the road. And I'm going to tell you why you need to have a written one-page business plan. Harvard did a study. They followed their students in the class of 1950 for 30 years. Only 3% of those people wrote down their goals and their ambitions and their dreams. 30 years later, those 3% had a collective net worth that was in excess of the other 97% combined. It works, right? Okay, next please. All right. Oh, here we go. So you've got your plan. Now, time management. There's one thing I know, because I'm one of you, is that we're not the best at managing our time. Do you guys believe me? Yes? All right. So here's a simple tool. Here's what I've seen as a pattern that almost every mega producer, every top producer that I've ever met does. They schedule, and it's a little bit of an eye test, but I'm going to showcase to you a couple of these things. What you'll see down here is you've got son's soccer game, daughter's hockey game. So if you've got kids, put your kids' stuff. If you've got a partner, your date night. So all top producers I know have a personal life. and they plug into that which gets scheduled gets done. They plug in their personal life into their calendar first. Why? That's the most important thing. Anybody that I know that have had a long-term successful career know that you got to balance your life. And if you don't, you're just not going to reach that level that you can, right? So balance is of the utmost importance. Take care of your partner. Take care of your kids. Have that personal life, because that will actually make you work better, faster, stronger, harder than if you don't. People who don't take care of their personal life fizzle out in this business. So first things first, plug in your personal stuff. Next thing is prospecting. This is by far the most important thing after your personal life, right? Prospecting, mega producers are prospecting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, starting at 9 o'clock each and every single day. Except for Friday. Friday is about planning, right? Doing those videos. Take Friday, do those things. Plan your website, do your business plan, do all of those things, but 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, prospecting. I forgot one thing. Up at the top, above prospecting, actually, I got to say personal, and then getting your mind and your body ready to start prospecting, right? At the end of the day, we know that this business requires a lot of energy, right? You're go from 9 a.m. to probably 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m., right? And the only way to maintain that for a long-term career is that you maintain your body and you maintain your mind, right? So work out first thing in the morning, get those endorphins running, that's the happiness drug, get that dopamine running, that's the motivation drug. There's a whole pharmaceutical of drugs that get released if you work out, and all of that stuff is going to help your business. I guarantee it. And at the same time, as you're getting your body ready, get your mind ready. I'm listening to podcasts, all top performers I know, listening to podcasts in the morning, whether it's Brian Buffini, Super Agent Live, Richard Robbins. I don't know if he has a podcast. But, listening to books. That's the part of the process. Get that mind engaged and motivated. I mean, it's those, you're having conversations with some of the smartest people in the world. That's going to motivate you, right? Then prospecting, and then the afternoon is appointments. And so that's what a schedule looks like from most top performers that I've engaged with over the past 30 years. And prospecting, I mean, it's no rocket science. There's only 6 or 7 ways of really prospecting. I've kind of put them up there. Most of you are probably doing 1, 2, or 3, or maybe more of these. But figure out what you're really good at. It's the 80-20 principle. You've heard of the Pareto principle? 20% of what you do is going to yield 80% of your results. So that 20% is usually going to be something that you love to do, right? And if you love to do it, you're going to be really, really good at it, right? So, all right, over communication. The most important relationship in my life is with Harpreet, and you saw her picture earlier. When we first got married, biggest complaint was, you just don't communicate enough, right? I'm like, what do you mean? I said a word or two, and which is funny because I like to talk a lot. For those of you who know me, I mean, it's hard to shut me up, but at home, for whatever reason, I wasn't talking a lot. And it's just like every other relationship that you're going to have. There's no such thing as over-communication in our business. There's a little bit of a lull in some parts of the market right now, and maybe you haven't had showings for 3-4 days. Your sellers are nervous, right? And if you haven't called them for 3 days, they're even more nervous. We're not just helping them buy and sell homes. We're their psychologists. We're their psychiatrist. We're their friend, right? And if we're not calling them to tell them that there's no showings, they're going to say, oh my God, I'm not going to sell this. And maybe they've already bought, even though people like me counseled people not to buy first. And if you're not calling them, you're in trouble. Why? Because stats show that 74% of homeowners that are dissatisfied with their agents cite lack of communication as the key. So communicate often with your clients. Not only that, but communicate often with your prospects. There's a buddy of mine, Keith Roy. He did a presentation at Integra's head office, and he showcased a 47-touch system of communicating with your database. And each one of these touches keeps you top of mind with your prospects, with your database. And it starts with events. So this isn't about constantly pushing real estate at people, because you know what? When you're pushing, say, your listings to your Facebook friends, and you probably have thousands of them, most of them don't give a rat's ass. Right? And I'm saying that half jokingly, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the only people that care about your listings are going to be the people that are in that immediate area of your listings, right? What you want to do is communicate to them about who you are, just like Richard was talking about doing videos about restaurants and stuff in the local community. So this communication system starts with events, and then communicating with them through emails and video and other forms of mail to invite them to the events. And then there's market updates and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you guys know all this stuff, but communicate often. That's a 47-touch system. What I've seen over the years, the minimum for top performers is 30 touches, and Keith has done the most at 47. So in between 30 and 47, and you'll be top of mind with your database. Fair enough? Okay, going over to mindset. This business, like I said, it's simple, but it's not easy. So these three traits are common in just about everyone that's had a long-term, very fruitful career. They're all focused. You guys all have heard of Anthony Robbins, right? Well, I've got a friend of mine who's a close friend of Anthony Robbins, and what this friend of mine told me is that Anthony Robbins, when he's with you, you're the only person in the world that exists. Nothing else exists. That takes focus. So focus. Don't bring your phone into an appointment at somebody's kitchen on the kitchen table and stick the phone there. They're going to smell commission breath because you're waiting for the next deal. Right? Focus on them. They're the most important person at that point in time. So focus is of critical importance. Then grit. This is it's not an easy business to get through. We're in the rejection business, right? So when you get rejected, have that grit. Have that thick skin. It's not something on you personally. Maybe they had a bad day, right? And maybe they're just not ready to engage with you. But move on. And it's that grit that's critically important, more important than the natural skill set that we have, according to some research that's been done by somebody named Angela Lee Duckworth. Persistence. This is a long-term game here, right? Every day you're getting closer and closer to world class, right? And just know that it's not a short-term gain, right? Over the long term, you will achieve your dreams, but you got to stick with it. Okay, I'm going to talk about technology a little bit. I mean, we're here with so many experts in the field of technology, but before I go there, I'm going to talk about, damn, now we went ahead of myself. Now, these are the stats from the National Association of Realtors. Unfortunately, Korea doesn't do those. How am I on time? I think I might be over. Yeah, I'm over? Damn. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go really quickly. That the stats show that we get most of our business from repeat and referral, right? So why do I want to talk about technology? Well, I want to talk about technology because what these stats don't show. Next, please. What these stats don't show is that 14% of you get 60% of your business from online sources, right? So the foundation of our business has shifted, and the stats don't show it yet, other than this one. So be one of these 14% and start to integrate technology. I mean, Andrew does an incredible job with so much stuff that he can integrate into your business. Use it, because top producers use, whoopsie, sorry. I hit something. I'll be quick. Babe, come on up. That's the way I get. I told you guys I talk too much. All right, here we go. We're down further. We're almost done. Woohoo! All right, right there. Oh, can you? Yeah. Okay, so top producers use technology at a rate of 2 times, right? So it's imperative that you use technology. But I want to challenge you to use technology in the right way. It's important to push out listings in the right way. If you're doing, say, FSA advertising on Facebook, and it's a very localized geography that you're pushing your listings to that pertain to those people, that's fantastic. But to put listings on Facebook where everybody sees them, that's not the way to do it. Online, for me, is the same way offline is. It's about managing your reputation. Why managing your reputation? Well, because this is what the stats show. This is, again, from the National Association of Realtors. They asked, what's the most important thing when you choose your realtor? The number one thing was the reputation of the realtor. Number two was the agent was trustworthy and honest. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't even care. Only 1% said professional designation, and 7% said timeliness. They don't care whether you have a license and never show up on time, as long as they trust you. And you have a good reputation. Right? So take this information, put it on your website. How do you do that? Well, you want to be authentic, you want to show your expertise. People are looking for local service providers, and they're looking for reviews from other people. When I go to a city I don't know, I look up, I believe, complete strangers about how great a restaurant was. Well, the same thing is happening in real estate. That's how you can show, ask those specific questions so that your testimonials reflect your reputation and your trustworthiness. And then stick that on your landing page. In quotes, 2 or 3 words, because those are the words that people are looking for. Anyways, it will take you a long way. I'm going to skip this because we're really over time. And lastly, accountability. Or not lastly, second lastly. Almost there. Accountability. Among the most successful people, they've got either a professional coach or somebody that's a peer that holds them accountable. There's a ton of research on this. Your coach or your accountability partner should have knowledge and understanding of the stuff that you want to do, right? And my friends who are professional coaches in the industry, they've secretly told me that 50% of the increase in production of agents has come just because they hold people accountable. Right? And the other 50% from the technical stuff that they've been able to train them on. And so this accountability is it'll double your business. Within 1 year, it'll double your business. So just one last slide. This is never stop learning. You guys are here, and I bet if we did your average production, you would be significantly higher than the average agents out there. And you're not alone. Top performers attend the most conferences, read the most books, right? They're constantly learning. I mean, look at Warren Buffett, spends 5 to 6 hours per day. This guy's the best at what he does, but he's learning every day. He should be teaching this stuff, but he's a learner. And that's why he's the best at what he does. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, these are the best people in their fields. Every day, they try to be better than they were the day before. And that's the secret. So, I'm done. I'm done.